I'm so sorry. Y'all have been on our computer and all of a sudden you're gone.
Can you see us? You can't see us now?
No, ma'am. But we can hear you.
Yeah. Well, stand by.
Okay, thank you. We're trying to see on our end if something happened. It just disappeared.
Still can't see us? I mean, I can see y'all and
Oh, great.
it's at the DA's office. Can you see us?
No, ma'am, but there we go. I got you back. Thank you.
Good. Yes. So, Mr. Price, would you introduce yourself? Tell us your name and DOC number.
All right, my name is Kenneth Price. DOC number is 007484416.
Yes, sir. You heard all the introductions. Mr. Price, your case has been assigned to me, so I'm just dive right in. I want to acknowledge that we do have Ms. LaCour, who's joining us from the DA's office in Natchitoches. We have Ms. Alice Hardison with the DA's office. Both will be speaking, and at the appropriate time, we'll ask them to do so.
Yes,
So, Mr. Price, you're classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 10-year sentence for home invasion and false imprisonment.
yes, ma'am.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes, that's correct. Okay, and your parole eligibility was December 22nd, 2021. You're not eligible for good time. Full term is date is August 23rd, 2028.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
that sounds correct to you. So do you know, is there a detainer, do you have a detainer in Red River Parish?
Yes, ma'am. I'm aware of it. It's for a crime that happened back in 2017 before I even got my time.
What was that?
They call it super criminal damage to property by graffiti.
And have you, so you still owe time there? What's the status of the detainer?
Yeah, I don't really owe time. It's just they never took me to court when I was on the outside, so when I got locked up, they put a hold on me.
They never disposed of those charges?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So tell us what happened with this home invasion. In your words, what happened? It looks like you had recently released from jail.
Yes, ma'am. Well, it started, I caught myself bringing to her house and taking her stuff. You know, she sent me to jail, which is, she should have, to be honest with you. And then when I just committed a home invasion, and I really do apologize, but I can't change the past.
So I don't think you're telling us really what happened. Didn't you cause her physical harm?
Yes, ma'am. That's what I say. I committed a home invasion. But
Well,
I
tell us
didn't
what happened. Tell us
Yeah.
what happened. Tell us what happened.
Okay, well, it was one night around 12, at least 2, I guess, and I went to the back window. I creeped in, and like I said, I went from there. Like I said, I committed home invasion. So I don't really know how to explain that.
You were masked.
Yes,
You had a
ma'am.
mask on. You had a gun.
Yes, ma'am.
You strike her in the face with your fist against the gun.
Not on purpose, but yes, ma'am, I did.
And you tried to communicate her. You didn't think she knew who you were. You tried to communicate her with little sheets of paper.
Yes, ma'am.
So why did you do that? Why did you commit the home invasion?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, that's not like me being honest with you. It's just, I guess I was angry. Honestly,
Did she have a relationship prior to that?
ma'am?
Did you and she have a relationship prior to this home invasion?
Yes, ma'am.
What was the nature of the relationship?
Well, we're dating.
And how long had y'all been split up or separated or no longer in a relationship?
Not too long at all. Like maybe a month or 2 at the most.
It's indicated that you were just from jail. Why were you in jail?
Well, I was sent to jail for the simple burglary. Then it got dropped down to theft.
4 days later after release is when you committed this crime.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of, so how long I think you've been in jail, what, 4.5
Yeah, 4.
years? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, 4.5.
It always been in Natchitoches?
Yes, ma'am.
We need.
Natchitoches got any programs you, able to take advantage of?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Is Natchitoches, does that facility have any rehabilitative programs you've been able to take advantage of?
Absolutely none.
Tell me about your conduct history. How's your, what's that look like?
Well, first it started off rocky. Like I went to the whole a lot, fighting, stuff and of that nature. And within these last like a year and a half, well, almost 2 years actually, 2 years. The next month, I haven't been in no trouble at all.
How do you spend your time?
I draw a lot actually. Yes, ma'am. I'm a trustee also
Where do you work?
in the kitchen.
What do you do in the kitchen?
Right now, I'm the diet man. I make the diet trays, and I help serve COs and CO line.
So what was the type of work did you do before you came to jail?
Okay, mostly restaurant work, then some factory jobs like Alliance compressors, and then before that, McDonald's.
You worked in the restaurant business.
Yes, ma'am.
So you say your last write-up was in 2020?
Ma'am,
When was your last write-up?
my last write-up was January 26th of 2020.
21?
I'm sorry, 20 or 21. I'm sorry.
Or what was it for?
Fighting.
Would you think that you could use some anger management?
Yes, ma'am. I could actually.
Yes, I'm really concerned about your first of all, your conduct record, the serious nature of this offense. It was a very violent offense.
It
You have
was.
no explanation for it at all. I'm just, I'm worried. Gosh, I'm just going to sit back and listen to what everybody else has to say first.
Okay. May I speak?
Yes, sir. Sure.
All right, but like I was saying that, like I said, my last write-up was almost 2 years ago. And like I said, I haven't been in trouble ever since, and I've been a trustee, and I'm trying, honestly. I don't think that you should allow my past to dictate what I should do in my future.
Mhm. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Any questions, Jackie?
Yes.
Mr. Price,
Yes, ma'am.
do you think you have some psychological issues that you need to deal with?
Yes, ma'am, and I've been to the mental health clinic about it since I've been in jail, but when the COVID thing happened, all that just broke away from it.
And before COVID, what did mental health do? What did they prescribe meds? What did
Yes,
they do?
ma'am. They prescribed me for bipolar and also manic depression. But like I said,
Are you still taking the medication?
no, ma'am. I hate the way they made me feel. It's like a drowsy feel. I can't do it. I mean, not the meds, of course, but I can do the mental health.
What you did to this victim was really frightening. It was pretty frightening.
Yeah, it was, and
That's indicative of someone who has some serious psychological issues that need to be addressed.
I agree.
Whether it requires meds or not, you've got to deal with those issues. And
That's true.
perhaps not in the best facility, you can get some help. But, this was a terrifying experience for not only her, but those little girls that were in the house.
Yes, ma'am, it was, and I think it's worse on the children. But like I said, there's a mental health place on the outside. I mean, I was going to attend that.
I'd like to see you on more stable footing before you get out so that you can continue the progress that you've made inside. But I just think that you need perhaps to be in a place where you can get some mental health treatment.
Yes, ma'am. But like I said, there's a mental health place on the outside. And honestly,
I'm
I
not
have my
talking
son.
about the outside.
Ma'am,
I'm not talking about the outside.
I know. But I'm just trying to get understand that, it'd be best for me to be outside, because like I said, I have a son and he needs me a lot more than,
Again, see, you're missing the whole point. I don't think you even recognize just how, I don't want to use crazy, but insane what you did to that woman was.
no, I recognize completely, ma'am. And like I said, I mean,
I don't
I'm
think
sorry for
you,
what I've done, but the past is the past. I can't
Well,
change it.
it's not in the past for her. It's not in the
I know.
past for her. You're
I know.
trying to blow it off. You're trying to blow it off. And I'm trying to get you some help, but you're trying to get out. Without any help, without any coping skills. And I'm supposed to believe that, okay, everything's okay now. You're just gonna go to mental health, I don't have to worry about you anymore. And I don't think that's the case. You've got some real serious work you need to do. Because that's a very serious psychological problem that you're dealing with, or that you're not dealing with. You're just, your average person, I don't care how angry they are, would not have done the things that you did to support. It just wouldn't. You need to understand that and understand that you're going to need some real serious help. Come to terms with why you think you have a right to, impose your will on somebody else and terrorize her. So you've got a lot of things to work on, and it's not going to be done outside. You've got to start the work on the inside and then continue it on the outside if the forward of granted.
With all due respect, ma'am, I have been working on it while I've been inside. Like I told you, I've been to the mental health place that they send you to while I'm in here. And like I said, these last 2 years, I haven't been
What
in the since I've been working on it.
what they do besides prescribe medication?
No, they have a counselor that they let me talk to, Ms. Josie.
How many times did you talk to her?
Ma'am?
How many times did you talk to her?
Oh, quite a few. It should be in the paperwork here. But I've talked to her quite a few times. And I have been listening to her, and she has been helping me. I've been doing really well for the past 2 years because of that.
Well, except I see these write-ups that seem to be the result of anger.
Oh, say it again, ma'am?
But I see these write-ups that seem to be the result of anger.
Yeah, my past write-ups have been caused by anger, but like I said, these last 2 years haven't seen a single write-up after that.
I had one in 21, not 2
Yeah,
years.
that was my last one, ma'am. Well,
That's not. All right, that's all I have.
No, I'm sorry, I just couldn't hear you, ma'am.
No, that's okay. I
Sure.
said it was in 21. That hasn't been 2 years.
Oh, no, I said almost 2 years. It'd be 2 years of January 26th, so 23.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Tricia.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Price, good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
You kind of just overlook everything that you've done in the last 4 or 5 years. Sometimes when you hear exactly what you've done, it sinks in because I don't think you realize the amount of anger and frustration and some kind of deep rooted hatred for mankind that you possess. I want to read out your write-ups. And in November of 18, only 4 years ago, you got a write-up of fighting. It was sent to the working cell block for 10 days. Then on January of 19, you got a five for aggravated disobedience. You got a number 1 for contraband and another number 17 for destruction of state property. On that particular day, you got 3 write-ups. and you were sent to 10 days lockdown, and you were ought to pay restitution for the property that you destroyed. And in June of 19, another one for contraband again. You got 5 days in lockdown. July 19, fighting. 10 days in lockdown. October 19, fighting. September 20, defiance. 10 days in lockdown. And then in January of 2021, the one you're talking about, you got a write-up for fighting and destruction of state property. 10 days in lockdown, and you had to pay restitution for the property that you destroyed. Just in 4 years, you got multiple fighting, multiple destruction of state property, multiple contrabands, disobedience, and a defiance. You need some help. You're not ready to be released, but you need some serious help with anger management and some counseling that you've been getting. But what you did to this victim and the conduct that you displayed over the last 4 or 5 years is not acceptable. And I know you haven't got it right up since January of 2021, but we need to see a prolonged period of time where that anger is not displayed, and you have to get into situations to show that you have the ability to control your anger. And it would be remiss on our part if we were to release you and you still had that problem and you would be right back within 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, no one wants that.
That's not what it's all about. When we release you, we want to release you hoping that you have rehabilitated to the point where you will remain a productive member of society. And you have to understand that. You don't understand that now. As Rick Jackson said, all you want to do is get out. But the main objective of rehabilitation and incarceration is for you to stay out. You understand what I just said?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Price, when did you stop taking your medicine? Remember?
It was just shortly after they reopened the government. Well, I'm sorry, yeah, reopened the government.
In 21.
Yeah, around that time.
So when you got into all the trouble that Mr. Roche was talking about, had you been on your meds at that time?
I'll say it again.
So when you got into all the trouble that Mr. Roche mentioned, the write-ups and the fighting and the defiance, were you on your medication at that time?
No, ma'am.
So when were you prescribed a medication?
I want to say sometime in 2019.
2000.
I'm sorry, say it
And
again.
then you quit taking it?
No, I was taking it on and off. I mean, like I said, I hated the way it made me feel, like the drowsy feeling you feel afterwards. Wasn't really taking this high. I got the contraband right up.
So do you think that had some impact on the number of write-ups that you got? Because you wasn't taking the medication as prescribed?
No, ma'am. I wouldn't say that. I mean, most of the write-ups for fighting and all that is being caused by things that happen on the outside. Like There was one in
Okay.
2019, there was one in July of 2019 where my cousin got killed and the guy came in the dorm and all that. One thing led to another.
So when was the last time you saw your counselor?
Ma'am,
When was the last time you saw your counselor?
it's been a while. I really don't remember the date.
So do you know how often you see the counselor?
No, ma'am. The way they was doing it before I got out of it was every 2 to 3 months. It was a long time, to be honest with you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Is there an officer there? Is the officer there in the room?
Yeah, Ms. Moore.
She's still there, ma'am. Are you familiar with Mr. Price at all? Do you know him or anything about?
Just on a small level, he's one of our kitchen workers and he serves the COs at lunch and at breakfast.
Okay. Good. So he's not had the write-ups, as he said, is that you know of since 2021, January.
Yes, ma'am. I've been working over in this building since the end of January of this year. And he's been working in the kitchen that I know of. He hasn't been any problem whatsoever.
Okay, good. Good to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Could we hear Ms. Hardison? We'd like to hear from you, Ms. LaCour.
And we also have the DA, Mr. Harrington,
Okay.
with us.
Oh, Mr. Harrington, I'm sorry, I didn't see you there.
Yeah, he's all the way in the back.
I'll let y'all go ahead in whatever order you like.
You go ahead.
Move back.
I'm just fearful that he may come after me again if he's released. And I'm worried because my kids also have that concern. My youngest daughter is still in therapy from when it happened. They diagnosed her with PTSD. So I'm kind of scared. I want him to get the rehabilitation like y'all mentioned, and I want to know from a professional that they feel like he's ready to be released.
All right, well, thank you so much for speaking with us this morning. I know that takes a lot of courage. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mr. Harrington?
Yes, thank you. I just want to, obviously, I'm opposed, my office is opposed to Mr. Price's parole. You've read the facts of the case, very heinous. And, Ms. LaCour and her daughters are continuing to suffer and from this with the counseling and nightmares. And it's just, it just wasn't that day. It continues for them to live through this. And I want to point out that the burglary that was mentioned earlier that was fled to a theft, Ms. LaCour was the victim on that case also. I think that's very, very important to know.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Price, is there anything you'd like to say to us before we vote?
Well, actually, I want to like take them to Juliana for a minute, just a second.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
I'll like to talk to Mr. LaCour for a second. Is that okay?
No, you can talk to us.
No, I mean, I'm talking to y'all, but I just wanted to.
To us.
Okay, well, I just want to apologize to her, honestly, and to her kids. Like I said, I mean, the past, and I can't change it, but you, honestly, Julian, you didn't deserve that at all. You might not believe me now, but from the heart, I really do apologize.
All right, thank you, sir. I think we are prepared to vote. I'll be voting first. Mr. Price, I have a lot of concerns about you, and I'm glad you were able to at least say what you just said. But I have a lot of concerns about your history, and I believe you need some therapy. I'm going to vote to deny your parole based on the opposition that's been expressed today, your disciplinary conduct record, and the need for additional therapy. My vote today is to deny. I will make a recommendation to the DOC that you be given the opportunity where you can have routine, regular visits with a mental health professional to really get to the root of the problem. That's my vote. Mr. Rusher.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Price, my vote is the same to deny. Basically for the same reason, disciplinary conduct, opposition from the victim, and opposition from the legal community.
Mrs. Jackson.
All right, Mr. Price, my vote today also is to deny. I really don't think you dealt with issues enough uncomfortable, and certainly that school would be comfortable. And so I hope DOC can facilitate with getting into counseling. Really need that for yourself. But my vote is to deny because of opposition and poor disciplinary. A lot though.
Mr. Price, today your parole's been denied. Good luck.
I have a question now.
That.
Question. So what happens now? Do I get sent to a facility and then come back up again? And
Well, we'll send you instructions on when you can reapply.
okay, what about? When I get sent to the
It's
facility?
often, no, we'll send it to you. We'll send it to you. We're just going to make the recommendation to DOC. I don't know what they're going to do. So we'll see. Good luck.
You too.
Yeah, I agree with the decision. I didn't realize I left my camera on. I was just sitting on my chair listening to it. And so I didn't have the visual to see him, but just listening, he sounded like he had an anger problem. The way that he snapped back for all his answers, it was like this intensity and anger. Even what he just last muttered was like, "Oh, we'll see." I mean, he's clearly got anger problems. He's here in front of a board trying to get out, and he can't control himself. So that was my takeaway. All this fighting and stuff. I mean, he's yeah. Sadly, therapy can, you can force someone into therapy, but they first have to identify that they have problems, and medication probably would help. Some people who are really angry, like they're constantly, it's like in a car, their RPMs are always up, right? There's no like chill mode. So when something happens, there's boom, it's 0 to 1. It's like 0 to 100. There's no middle gear. There's no like, that's what he reminded me of, just someone that is always on full throttle. So when anytime anything comes in, and I think all of us can relate to that. It's like when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed for whatever reason, and the smallest thing can trigger you. But imagine if you had that issue your whole life, all the time. You have to. It's like a defect. It's something's wrong, and he needs help. So you can feel bad for him, but he needs to. The problem is that he just doesn't seem to realize that he even needs help. You first have to acknowledge it before you can get help. So it's a shame. That's my takeaway. Always love to hear your thoughts. Oftentimes I do change my opinion reading the comments and the dialogue. All right.